Oh, hi. I can't catch a wink of sleep. Usually this time of night I'm just passing out, but for some reason it's just not happening tonight.
Ho ho! I can help with that.
Oh, no. Stay the hell away from me, bug boy! Get back!
No. That was my twin brother, Dr. Auzeklod. I am Dr. Uzeklod, and I am the local professional on sleep at the local university.
Okay. Lay it on me, Doc.
Absolutely. But first,
Oh, God.
I must ask you one simple question.
Here it comes.
Do you like these?
Sure. Let's play 40 Winks? 40 Winks was a PlayStation exclusive that came out in 1999, but almost became multi-platform. However, for some unknown reason, the N64 version was scrapped despite being advertised in Nintendo Power for months, and even got reviewed by several critics before the alleged release date. So that's what I get to put my faith in, a game that wasn't even released despite being done. Somebody just shoot me now. The game starts out with a cutscene featuring two kids, Rough and Tumble, being tucked into bed despite their opposition, when really they should be concentrating on why their mother called them Rough and Tumble.
But Mom, bedtime's boring. Yeah, there's nothing to do but lie here getting bored.
Sleep isn't boring. You're asleep. It can't be boring. Because you're asleep. You're sitting there unconscious. You are physically and mentally incapable of being bored. 'Cause you're sleeping! And I guess, in a weird attempt to try to make sleep sound exciting, the mother tells the plot of the game, explaining that if the Winks, a creature that causes good dreams, were captured by the nightmare-inducing creatures called the Hoodwinks, it would be up to these two children to save them all. Conveniently, at that exact moment on the other side of town, an evil insomniac known as Nightcap plots to capture the Winks so everyone is as miserable as him, and vows to end all sweet dreams. Now, you may have noticed that this cutscene is actually very cool. The animation is good, the characters are all very neat, and the build-up to the story is actually exciting. The only complaint I have is that some of the kids' voice acting is hard to understand. Surprisingly, the game kinda has my attention at this point. Whether or not it'll keep it is a whole nother story. I've played plenty of games with awesome cutscenes that just fell flat and just didn't deliver on anything. After the cutscene, the game just kinda starts. There's really no explanation of what's going on. It doesn't take long to discover that the kids are actually asleep and roaming in a dream world. Guess we better investigate. Oh my god! What the hell is that? This truly is a nightmare. It speaks the devil's tongue. Actually, it's our guide. Yeah, this clock is an ally. It teaches us all about how to reclaim the Winks. One of our powers includes this scream attack. So let's go ahead and try that out. What the fuck is that? It sounds like somebody is using a duck call in their ass. What creature of the night hears that and gets scared? Well, after all that screaming, I suppose it's time to jump into a level. Well, this doesn't come as a surprise. Haunted house, cemetery, forest. Nothing really surprising at all. A game about nightmares couldn't drift too far away from this template. Anyway, it's time to enter this first stage to track down the first two Winks that are being held captive. I've taken notice of something right away, and I know that it's probably going to be a big issue. Movement is extremely floaty. You don't stop when you want to stop moving, and when you do finally stop, you slide about 2 feet. Why do games feel the need to do this? It's a headache to put up with, especially when it's implemented in platforming. It's annoying to jump on small ledges and then go off the other end just because I didn't hit the ledge at the exact right spot. Speaking of ledges, they are the bane of my existence in this game. You have to jump to get on every single small, inadequate ledge. But stairs, you get to trot right up those sons of bitches. And to top it all off, the landing detection is shit. If you're too close to the ledge, you just slip right off. Does this kid have butter on his slippers or something?
And the platforming takes up such a huge part of this game. It's not just a minor nuisance, it's something I have to put up with the entire time.
Surprisingly, the game is just as combat-oriented as it is with platforming, but this just causes even more frustration, as hit detection on smaller enemies is terrible. I have to be right next to them and touching them before I can even hit them. And that convenient little invincibility cloak you get after being hit, it goes both ways. You can't hit anything while you're in recovery mode. It's bullshit! The whole point of recovery mode is so you can get the upper hand back. To regain health, we have to find these little Z's. These keep us from waking up in the real world, which would cause us to restart the stage.
So you're saying if I wake up in my dreams, I wake up in real life? Mother of God.
In order to progress in each level, we'll have to collect cogs, which I guess form a key of sorts in order to open these doors. Each door has a set number of cogs that are required to open it, but this really just acts more as filler than anything. To get these collectibles, you must collect these collectibles by beating up enemies that allow you to collect them, which can open up the door. Yeah, that's real nice. Scattered throughout the stage are little toy boxes that allow you to transform into different fantasy characters, including cavemen, ninjas, and a jester. Each of these grants a temporary power to our hero that allows them to progress, but my main concern with this is that it's not really interesting. The main goal of each costume is to get to a switch before your time runs out. The rest of the time is yours to do whatever with. Each costume gives some sort of combat ability. The caveman hits hard, the ninja hits quick, and the jester jumps. Hi. Nice. Meanwhile, in the haunted house, it's time to climb this poltergeist in order to receive more cogs. This is the game's platforming at its absolute worst. You have to jump at the exact moment to get on top of the table, and the table is the only thing you can balance on out of all this furniture. There's a switch that temporarily stops the commotion, but it hardly does any good. I can't time it at the exact moment where the table is actually low enough to jump on.
This game is full of collectibles to find at each stage. In other games, there are maybe 2, possibly 3 types of collectibles per stage, but in this game, there are 5! 5 different types of collectibles in a small level that takes no more than 10 minutes to complete!
Each level has hidden collectibles that are required to fight the final boss of an area. These keys are hidden all over the place, and don't miss a single fucking one, or you'll have to replay the entire stage over just to find the ones you missed. You don't always have to find cogs to open a door. Sometimes you have to fight your way into the next area. In these sections, the enemies seem to either keep coming or they are nearly impossible to kill without a dream costume. These Frankenstein monsters, or these bears, take forever! The winks are usually found locked in these little cages, which are always opened by, you guessed it, cogs or killing enemies. In all actuality, these stages aren't long at all. They're extremely linear and have no exploration. Everything is more or less right in front of you. There are no beaten paths or Easter eggs to find. The game literally spoon-feeds you everything you need, and really it's not that hard to find the keys. So if you miss them, you're just being a dumbass. So after rescuing all the winks and gathering all the keys in this area, it's time to fight the first stage boss, which is a teddy bear riding on top of a giant tarantula.
To my adoring family, I leave a copy of Glover and Quest 64. To my best friend, I leave the demon voice that seemingly stalks me everywhere. And to my fellow critics, I leave 100 mint copies of Duke Nukem Forever.
Actually, the boss turns out to be very easy. I barely used any of the scream attacks based on how stupid it was, so now I have about 50 of them stored up, and I can unleash them all to take down this monstrosity. Now after the fight, there's another interesting cutscene showing Nightcap repairing Red Bear, entailing that he's going to be our nemesis throughout most of the game, a lot like Klungo from Banjo-Kazooie. But I really can't continue. The game is just it's too plain. Plain and simple, this game is a collectathon just like Mario 64 and the Banjo games, but why did they get away with it when I can't really bat an eye to 40 Winks? I guess it's because even though the formulas are virtually identical, Banjo and Mario each have multiple objectives in order to claim the stars or the jiggies. In 40 Winks, you're just let loose in this linear level, and as you advance, you find these little winks. The only real objective is to get this door open or kill this enemy. In the other games, there's so much variation it doesn't even compare. It can be anything from shooting out of a cannon or something as simple as winning a race. I hesitate to say 40 Winks is completely boring, however. There is some value here, and if I had a PS1 and never played Banjo or Mario to compare this game to, it would be perfectly acceptable. But seeing how I've played these other games, it's just hard to find the appeal in 40 Winks, except for the awesome cutscenes, of course. So where does that leave 40 Winks? I'll be honest, I don't really know. The controls are awful, the platforming is annoying, the combat is a diluted piece of shit, and with all that thrown in there, it's still somehow a playable game. I just don't understand it. Maybe someday I'll revisit and replay it all the way through, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Anyway, well, that wraps up week 2 of Zilla-Ween. Make sure to come back next week. Now I'm really tired. Get the fuck out of my room. Dismissed.